We are live.
Woo!
Well, this is a first for us on Three Blind Vikes. Our first episode where we have to talk about
A loss.
And it's not fun. Talking about losses isn't fun, but we'll try and get you through it. This was one. I think Dustin said this was like the most Vikings loss ever. It is the way the Vikings lose.
That's fair.
The game it was a roller coaster ride of a game. Up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell, who loves to screw around with kicking and not kicking, set us up early with a fake punt early, deep in his own territory, and score there. Get a 57-yarder from our kicker, who's freaking amazing.
I know. Way to go, Will.
So now it's like 10-0 early, and I'm sitting there thinking,
we're gonna do it.
Nope. I was thinking the shoe's gonna drop at some point.
Really?
Yep. I said it's got to drop. This team is too good to let us just railroad them out of town. Sure enough, 45-yard run and said, "Here we go." And then now all of a sudden it's big play after big play. And you know it's 14-10. And I'm watching it on the red zone. And they go to the Vikings on a 3rd and 8. We're on a drive. And I'm sitting there on the couch and I said, Sam's going to throw an interception on this play. Hey, Jessica.
Yay!
I said he's going to throw a pick. I don't know why. I just said he's going to throw a pick on this play. And he did. Right down the field. So we gave up 3 scores in the second quarter, 21-10.
Didn't we give up 4 in the second quarter?
No,
thankfully,
3 touchdowns.
4 consecutive ones.
Yeah, they scored on 4 consecutive possessions. But we go down. Sammy throws a great pass to JJ. Now we're in the game again. It's like, all right. Then the defense lets them go right back. And you're thinking, this is the way this game's going to go. I told you guys it was going to be a 31-20 final, and I thought, this is
you
how
were
it's playing
so
out.
close.
You were really close.
I was very off.
I was way off.
But then here we come again. Come down, score again, stay in the game. Will's still kicking field goals. Then we get the scoop and score. And when they got the scoop and score, I said, maybe this is the day.
Nope.
But then the 2-point conversion was so terrible. That's when I said, now we're going to find a way to lose this game on a late field goal.
I went back, and when we got the scoop and score, I'm like, this is not what we need. There's not enough time. There's not enough time for them to drive down the field and for us to get the ball back with enough time.
Okay, so I came in to this live with a very different feeling between the two of you. You guys seem so doom and gloom about this loss. Oh my gosh. I am coming into this live thinking like, holy crap. Like all we did were make some silly mistakes. And I felt like the Lions didn't make very many mistakes. And we only lost by 2.
So we're not saying that we're like doom and gloom.
It feels doom and gloom.
What we're saying is we're communicating our emotions at that time
right
game.
Oh.
Right.
And when that fumble happened, I felt like
doom and gloom.
There wasn't enough time. Like there's not enough time unless we go 3 and out, which we haven't been able to do all but like one time in the game.
But then they did. They held them on the next possession, and we got the ball back.
Yeah.
And the play calling on that drive, the 3 plays, was bad. 5 yards in the first play, great. Now I'm thinking 2nd and 5, play action, just a waggle to the tight end, get the first down. Do it on 2nd down. Don't make it get to a 3rd down where you know you're going to throw. And what do? Run it right into the line, gets the yard. Now it's 3rd and 4. I'm still waiting for the tight end to be involved in this game. And by sending Addison and Jefferson to the same spot on 3rd and 4, you could have easily leaked the tight end out on the back end of that. Just had Sammy stop, look back, and just a little throwback it probably would have been wide open for the first time. But that's not what we did. We ran two guys in the same spot. There's nobody open. Sammy's got nowhere to throw the ball. He throws it away. And that's the beginning of the end. And then our defense, who had showed up for 2 consecutive possessions, you think, well, they can't do it for 3 in a row. And they didn't. They didn't. They let them come right down. Easy field goal. Game over. That said, if you haven't done it yet, look up the stats from this game.
Let's not go into that because might get defensive about it.
All right. I won't. I will let you talk about it later, but it blew my mind when I looked at the numbers from this game.
Mm-hmm.
Blew my mind. We will not give stars for the winner this week. That's one of the rules of giving the stars of the game. It's always Vikings, even if we get housed, which we didn't. Who do we got for our stars of the game? Corey, go first, please.
I think I'm just gonna have to. I don't know. I feel like there's 2. There's 2 real stars, maybe 3. Okay, fine. Maybe there's 4. I'm gonna go with. I didn't think this through. We're gonna go with Pace because he had a good day. He got the
he had the
touchdown.
Yep.
He was all over the field. I'm gonna go with him.
Pace is a good choice. Dan, who do you have this week?
JJ. The catch he made in the end zone, just insane.
Yeah, it was so good, wasn't it?
If he jumped, maybe an inch higher on that 3rd and 4, I think he catches it. Just something he manages to come down with, but I don't know. He had a really good game. It was fun watching him, and I was between Pace and JJ, and she took Pace.
Well, I have 3 guys that you didn't pick.
I was Will the Thrill on there.
He is actually going to be my pick.
Okay.
I was going to take
that was between Pace and Thrill for me.
Yeah, I could have taken Aaron Jones.
Yep.
Our average linebacker, our not so average linebacker was solid again. But man, 3 field goals, all 40 plus, one from 57 yards.
I know. And they were talking about if they wouldn't have got that last penalty, they were going to have him try for 68.
Yeah.
That's how much trust they have in this kid.
I just watch him kick, and I still have PTSD because every time he kicks, I'm waiting for him to miss one. And so far he hasn't.
And the more that he makes and 27 for 27, and the more he makes, the more anxiety I'm going to get. And it's like, if he doesn't miss one before the last push, that's going to be a rough end of games.
There's also so much PTSD about it, such that he's probably going to stay consistent. And then it's going to come down like a playoff game, and he hasn't missed all season. And half of Minnesota, more than half, 3/4 of Minnesota is going to have a heart attack.
We lost.
It's gonna be a Gary Anderson. That's what's gonna happen.
I hope not.
That would be so Vikings, though. That would be so Vikings.
Yeah.
We also had some X factors.
Ooh.
Yep, we did.
So, I'll go for
it. Cora had the crowd. I don't think we can give the crowd the win this week.
No, I was just
have the kicker. What was this guy doing? Didn't he have some kind of sales job or something that they pulled him out?
He was selling bricks.
Yeah, he was selling bricks. So when the brick salesman hits a 42-yarder and he's not phased, and Jared Goff is almost perfect on the day, I can't give the crowd.
Well, and so Dan and I, we ended up going just tailgating for the game.
I saw that.
So we went and we were at Sal Spice's tailgate. We brought the kids, had like a little hoopla. Then everyone left. And then we went and ate food and listened to it on our thing. But then we came back to the tailgate lot because there was a family there. So we actually were able to sort of listen to the game at the same time as the game was going on the television. It was like, what, 10 seconds faster than what was on TV, 15? Yeah. So what I would do is I'd listen for the eruption of noise and then run to the TV and watch because, like, I can't watch it until we lose. But honestly, I just didn't think it was as loud as I would expect. Like on defense, I was like, where is all the noise? And like, I know that I'm outside, but the difference of hearing the eruption and then
it was easy. Like in the last possession, like we could kind of hear the crowd on when we were on defense. But when they would erupt, it would be like 4 or 5 times louder than what the noise was when we were on defense.
Yeah. So the long story short, we agree with you.
Now my choice didn't do much either.
No.
Harrison Phillips was a non-factor.
Yeah.
He had a tackle and a couple of assists. So this week, I think Danny's got to get it. Bernard was great. 2 tackles, 2 assists, a sack, and a tackle for loss. Compared to ours, he was far and away the best of the X factors this week.
I'm pretty disappointed in myself here. I have yet to win 1.
Dan is at 2. I am at 4. Cora is still looking to break into the crooked numbers.
Big whopping 0.
But that could change this week.
Oh man, I hope
Dan gets to pick first because he won.
Ooh, I get to pick first. I'm gonna go with Addison this week. I feel like Addison's gonna. I don't know, gut feeling. I think he's just gonna do good.
He was on my list too. I had him on mine too.
I think if Addison's doing well, that means JJ is not doing well.
Yep.
Or they're both doing well.
Or maybe they're just like slinging it together.
Like I think JJ probably still ends up with some big catches and big gains, but not as many as you're used to seeing. I think the ones he does make are going to be 20, 30 yards though, or more.
Chunk plays.
Yeah,
chunk plays. Yeah, I like that pick in Addison. All right, Cora, who do you got?
I was going to go with Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. Okay.
Because I feel got to get the run game going. And their defense isn't awful. They're struggling. They're, not doing great. But getting him going and then adding in Jefferson and Addison, I think he will be an X factor this week.
Well, I have 2 that neither of you picked.
Man.
I was gonna go with our man Josh, the Swiss Army knife, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna go with old reliable, my favorite Viking, who went to Notre Dame, even though I'm a Penn State fan.
There you go, the hitman himself.
The hitman has got to do something on Thursday night. I'm waiting for him to make a momentum-changing play.
That's fair.
I need him to do that. And I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I will say he has made some momentum keeping plays.
Yeah.
And
I need him to turn the field around. I need him to step in front of one and pick it off, to stop a drive. I need him to come off the corner and
to just kind of like jump up, catch it, and then
I need him to come off the corner and make Sam Bradford wish he retired yesterday. Like, that's what I need him to do something like that. Like, here comes Harry on the blitz. Uh-oh. Knock one out. maybe a scoop and score, or a recovery that again switches the field. It's time, and I know Harry's only got a few years left, if that.
Yeah.
But I think he can still do it, and I need it to happen Thursday night. So I'm going with Harry for Thursday.
I like it.
That sounds good.
Well, Cora, we held off on this.
Okay.
Because you wanted to talk.
So I'm actually really glad that I picked this little bit because it seems like you guys are just kind of a bummer, negative Nancy's over here about the game.
It's negative Ned.
Negative Ned. Sorry, negative Ned's over here about the game. I honestly came away from this game thinking and believing that, like, holy crap, I mean, this is the best I've ever felt after a loss. Like, I feel like we lost, but, like, did we really lose? Like, this is now considered the best team in the NFL, and we lost by 2 points because we shot ourselves in the foot. Instead of, like, literally being out chess matched and, like, losing because they just were, like, that much better than us. The big stat that I wanted to point out, which is why we lost, was the fact that we had like the same amount of penalties, but our penalty yardage was 10 yards more than the Lions. And I think that's probably the most important piece, where it's even in O'Connell's press conference, he had said, we are making mistakes in crucial spots.
Yep.
And not that they're like falling over or just not doing well. They're making mistakes in crucial spots where you can do it, the stupid penalties or whatever. So in my eyes, this is the best I've ever felt after a loss. I mean, total yards, 391 to 393. Rushing yards, 144 to 139. First downs, 19-16. Like, they were almost identical stats. Sacks, 4. Fumbles lost, 1 and 0. But interceptions, 0 and 1. And, like, time of possession was like, what, like a
2
minute
minutes.
Difference?
It was about 2 minutes. Yeah, it was like roughly 2 minutes.
This was the best chess match game I've seen. And, like, the defenses were on, but I just walked away with this feeling like we had to lose. You had to get a loss in. And I'm not mad about this loss at all. In fact, it's really reassuring because of those, like, ticky-tacky mistakes that are changeable. And it's not like they shut us down or anything. We just got to get rid of that second quarter and we're good.
Here's my main reason for being a little bit miffed at the loss. This is the toughest division in the NFL by far. Nobody can tell me otherwise. You've got to win your home games within the division.
That's fair.
If you split the division and it's because you lost all your road games and won your home games, there's no one can ask much more than that. When you lose one at home, now thankfully we have one in hand out in Green Bay.
Yep.
But you've got to defend your home in these division games, and when you don't, it's just a little bit extra gut punch. Because now we got to go to Detroit and try and beat them there.
Yeah.
And their crowd is not going to let us off.
But I also feel like, at least with this team, it always feels like they're embracing that underdog mentality. And so, like, when they're on their home turf or, like, not expected to win or something, I feel like they, like, back off a little or their head is out of it. So I feel like going into opponents' stadiums is actually, like adds to them more than, like, takes away.
And I will say the one real big thing for me that makes me feel positive, so I can be a positive Pete here.
Positive Pete.
Okay, is we can come from behind.
Yeah, that's fair.
We were down by 11, down by 11 and a half. And we can come from behind. Our defense can relatively hold them, so that our offense has production.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad that we lost, and it's a bummer that we lost. But I feel confident going into other games, not necessarily in our division, but like going into the other games and winning those. And I don't know if I can feel confident about anyone other than the Lions doing that.
That's fair. That's
And
Listen,
that's probably just me being a delusional fan.
no,
because I am
it's
every
good.
year.
No, it's good. The big thing Bill Belichick said is this team hasn't faced adversity yet. We want to see how they react. Well, in all honesty, I thought they reacted fairly well, considering they could have just packed up the tent after the 21-point second quarter. They didn't. They could have packed up the tent after cutting the lead to 4 and giving up a touchdown to make it 11 again, and they didn't. So, they showed me that, like you said, Cora, they can come back. I think they have the ability to come. I don't think they get down on themselves. I don't think they get into that, woe is me, we might as well just get ready for the next game. They fight till the end, and it was the first time they had to face any adversity all season.
Yeah.
They handled it fairly well. Again, I didn't like how we handled the last 4 minutes of the game.
Yep.
But some of that has to go on the coaching.
Yep.
Some of it does. I will not be. I was not happy with the play calling on that our last possession at all.
Even the 2-point conversion, I wasn't a fan of that play. Like it didn't work, but I felt like we had better stuff in our arsenal.
It seemed very remedial, like a very base play that.
Right, but you can say the same thing about the 3rd and 4.
Well, again, I didn't like the 3rd and 4 call.
Yeah.
I didn't like
just like the remedial, like the basic. I don't know.
I didn't like flooding the short side. You're not giving your guys enough room to get open. You have 2 really good route runners. You got 2 fast guys there. If you're gonna run that, let them go to the left. Let them go left where there's more room to get separation. They had to go to the short side, and maybe Sammy can't throw the ball left. I don't know, but it just that 3rd and 4 play, it made no sense to me. But I'm sitting here doing a podcast in my side office. I don't coach in the NFL, so somebody knows more than I do. And I will say this, and then we can go to Dan's segment, but we need TJ Hawkinson.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Because if Hawk is on the field there, I think I think you do see some different play calling. And
I will say, I do think that's another reason why I'm more optimistic after this is that, imagine having Hawkinson there. I think it would have completely changed the tone.
Sure.
So, and we only lost by 2. And I didn't feel like in the Packers loss, we won, but it didn't feel great because they just kept coming and coming and coming.
Yeah.
Super great that we won, but at the end of the game, that did not feel great. I did not feel as discouraged in this loss as I did during the Packers game.
That makes perfect sense when you have a 28-point lead and it comes down to that. Where you have to fall on an onside kick just to make sure you seal the win. Yeah, that doesn't feel good. You don't want to let them back in because now you give them a sense of, hey, next time we can beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to take all the wind out of their sails, and I don't think the Vikings did. But again, that was a win, so nothing to get upset about. 5-1 is nothing to sneeze at for a team that's supposed to be last in the division.
Yeah.
5-1 is nothing to be whatever, but we're in 2nd in our division and we're 5-1.
Yeah.
That just baffles me.
Yeah.
The record of the NFC North is insane. The point differential, just the fact that we all have winning records.
Everybody's good.
Yep.
And it's going to be a dogfight to the end with this division. Well, Dan.
All right. In the nick of time. All right.
Tell us how Bo did this week.
Average.
Poor Bo.
He did average.
Hey, he did better than Kirk Cousins.
He did.
That's true.
Yep.
I chose Kirk Cousins on my fantasy team over Bo Nix, and I regret it. Because my quarterback was on a bye.
He did, 16 for 26, 164 yards. No TDs, no interceptions, no sacks. 10 carries for 75 yards. Meh production. And it summed up one of the game. Their running game finally did something. And
yeah, they were good. I watched that.
They took off. I didn't put down the team stats, but they ran well over 200 yards. It was crazy. Anyways, I wanted to compare him. We're through these games now. I wanted to compare him to Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, the other starting rookies. Right? So, over the course through the season so far, Bo Nix is 137 for 224. He has had 5 touchdowns in the air, 5 interceptions, only been sacked 9 times.
Ouch.
9 times.
Only been sacked 9 times. Runs 47 times, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, no fumbles. Caleb Williams, so far through the season, 130 to Bo's 137, but out of 199. 9 touchdowns, so 4 more through the air. 5 interceptions, so same amount. Been sacked 20 times.
Ow.
He's gone on 25 runs for 169 yards. No touchdowns on the ground, and fumbled it 3 times. Jaden Daniels, 127 for 168, so a better ratio there. He also has more yards. But Jaden Daniels is having a hell of a rookie year. 6 touchdowns in the air, 2 interceptions, been sacked 15 times.
Jesus.
66 runs, 372 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 3 fumbles. So to add up kind of a few points here, Bo Nix, 8 touchdowns, 5 turnovers, and a total of 9 sacks for 57 yards. 6.3 yards per play lost on his sacks. Caleb Williams, 9 touchdowns, 8 turnovers, 20 sacks for 137 yards total, 6.85 yards per sack. So half a yard more per sack than Bo. 3 more turnovers, all off of fumbles, and 1 more touchdown. Jaden Daniels, who's having a hell of a rookie year, 10 touchdowns, 5 turnovers, 15 sacks for 78 yards, 15 sacks for 78 yards for 5.2 yards per sack. All in all, I'd say in my rankings of the rookies right now, I'd say Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams.
Write that down. Scream it over
Based
the hilltops.
off of what they've done, not taking anything else into consideration about who their personnel is and what their team and play calling
just looking at stats
is able to produce. Just looking at the stats of those quarterbacks is, I would say, Jaden, Bo, and then Caleb Williams.
But have you looked at them game by game? In other words, are we seeing progress?
We are seeing progress. I would argue we're not seeing progress from Caleb Williams, despite him coming off of 2 nearly 300-yard total games against the Panthers and the Jags. 2 of the worst defenses in the league.
Defenses are bad, yeah.
Like the Panthers are giving up, like, on average 380 yards per game. The Panthers have given up 28 touchdowns this year, and the Jags have given up 23. They're at the bottom of the list. And so I would argue that we're not seeing progress from Caleb Williams. And I think Jaden Daniels started hot and has just been staying hot. He's played a couple teams near the top, a couple teams near the bottom, a couple in the middle. And so he's consistent. He's a really, really good quarterback. But I still argue that Bo Nix is way better than what everybody gives him credit for.
I mean, I will say, like, looking at some of the teams he's played against, like the Steelers and the Seahawks and the Buccaneers and the Jets, not really the Raiders or the Chargers, but the Saints, they all have good defenses. They all have some of the best defenses. And, I mean, I know the Jets are up there. And
I'll give you everybody but the Saints, because the Saints defense is starting to get really porous as of late.
Okay. So everyone but the Saints, they're all good defenses.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
The Jets, do they just play us after the when did we play the Jets? What week was that?
London. It was week 6, right?
2 weeks ago.
Or week 5, right? Because we just finished.
Okay, so then the Jets played the Broncos after us. Is that right?
Yes.
No, they played them before us. They lost
Before.
10-9 before they
Yes.
before the game.
Okay.
In London.
Because, like, there's a good defense. And we struggled against them.
Oh, yeah, very much.
So I think, and he's still one, I mean, granted, his defense is propping him up, but, I mean, he's had to face harder defenses than Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Overall, definitely.
And they will play the Panthers next week.
It's next week.
So we can truly compare Williams and Nix.
Bo should have a really big game next week. And if he doesn't, there's no excuse for it.
We'll see.
There'll be some excuse. I'll find it.
The acoustics in here were bad. I had a sore throat last week. Yeah, I know.
You had a hangnail. You know how hard it is to throw a baseball with a hangnail?
He thought he almost had mono. That's an interesting thing you bring up.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was good analysis.
He's not the best rookie. There's no, like, he's not competing with Jaden Daniels. But my thing this whole time has always been, he's better than what you give him credit for. He deserves to be there. I think he deserves to be a starting rookie. And
it's a preconceived notion that he's older and he played in a good system.
Yeah. I still think there's something special there.
Damn.
You hang on to that dream, Dan, and when it happens,
but he's gonna.
I'm gonna be here for it. I will be right here waiting for everybody else. You don't have to apologize or anything. Just come and join the party. Just come and join. Everyone's invited. Come on.
What are you gonna serve? Nick's drinks there?
Nick's drinks.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. We met. Do you know the Twitter person Thor?
Yeah.
We met him this week, and we were just chatting about Dan's little thing and about his Nick in the Knicks of time, and he just was like, "You're an idiot." He's not good.
And keep in mind, Thor is an analyst.
He's an NFL, or he's
a draft
analyst. Specializes in quarterbacks.
And he watched all the film on all the quarterbacks of this last draft.
He hates
class. And he's not a fan of Knicks. And he's not changed my mind.
We definitely need Thor to show up here because
he said that he would. He said he would.
Him to be part of this because I just want to hear him on that segment.
Or Dan might just have the whole segment.
Because it'll just be like me and him going back and forth.
We may have to put extra time. We may have to cut segments for that.
We might have to be like, oh, sorry.
And what's funny is like outside of Bo Nix and the like any other quarterbacks and what they did in college and all this, I got no clue.
He's committed to the bit.
I've seen the kid play and I like him.
Well, listen, we are the only Vikings podcast out there that has a segment dedicated to a non-Viking.
We might be the only podcast. I don't know if there's a Broncos podcast.
This is true. I'll have to find out. I think we've spent enough time on Bo today.
Yep.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
I have a good one, I think. Time for Valhalla Back. We go back to September 13th, 1998. Vikings-Rams. We are less than 5 minutes into the game. Robert Smith takes one in from 24 yards out. Vikings take a 7-0 lead. Key block to spring him on that made by one Randy Moss.
Mm-hmm.
With just under 5 minutes to play in the quarter, Brad Johnson hit Andrew Glover in the back of the end zone with a 3-yard touchdown pass and a 14-0 lead. That drive was set up after Torian Gray had a pick. The pick came after Ike Bruce would have had a long pass play for the Rams, holding on the play. So the next play, the Vikings pick it off, go down 14-0. We got 5 seconds into the second quarter. The Rams cut the lead, 14-7. Greg Hill from a yard out.
A yard.
Gary Anderson comes down. The Vikings kick a 24-yard field goal with about 4 minutes and a half. Vikings up 17-7. It's looking good. Jeff Wilkins comes back, hits a 53-yard, a career long at that time for him.
Dang.
There were less than 2 minutes left, 17-10. So it looks like we're going to hang on, take it into the locker room. 35 seconds later, though, Robert Smith, 74 yards. He houses one. So we take a 24-10 lead into the locker room, not just a 7.
Let's go.
5 minutes to play in the third. Hill gets his second rushing touchdown from 5 yards out. The Vikings lead is down to 24-17. Drive was set up when Brad Johnson got strip sacked. Mike D. Williams, big lineman, picked it up, scooped it, and ran for as long as he could before somebody caught him. Vikings did nothing on their next possession. Mitch Berger's punt to Eddie Kennison was taken 71 yards straight up the gut. We are even at 24.
Oh, my gosh.
Within 3 minutes, though, the Vikings take the lead back. Leroy Horde, a spinning 1-yard touchdown run. Vikings up 31-24 as we head to the fourth. But only 10 seconds into that fourth quarter, Tony Banks, quarterback for the Rams, hit Ike Bruce. He finally got him. No holding penalty this time. 80 yards to the house.
80 yards.
Even at 31. With just about 3 minutes left in the game, Randall Cunningham,
let's go,
forced into the game when Johnson hurt his knee. About 13 minutes left in the game. He finds Chris Carter from 19 yards out. The Vikings up 38-31. This drive was set up by a Jimmy Hitchcock interception.
Okay.
That's 38-31. The Rams have a shot. They have one last drive. Robert Griffith drops a sure interception on the 5-yard line with about 20 seconds to play. So the Rams have life. It's 4th and 6 on the Vikings 10 with 6 seconds to go. Tony Banks drops back. He finds nobody open. He takes off wide open up the middle. He gets to the half-yard line, and he's met by 4 Vikings. They stuff him, half a yard short. The clock expired, but it looked to me when I watched this like they probably could have stopped it with a second to go. I think the Rams had a timeout left, but if not, no worries. Nobody looked to argue. The Vikings take a 38-31 win out of this one. Stats on the game: Brad Johnson was 18 for 31, 208 yards, touchdown and 2 picks before he left. Cunningham in relief was 3 of 6, 41 yards in the touchdown. Robert Smith, 23 carries, 179 yards, 2 scores. Our top receivers in this one: Randy Moss, 89 yards on 6 grabs. Chris Carter, 60 yards on 4. The Vikings have 4 interceptions in this game, 2 from Griffith, one from Torian Gray and one from Hitchcock. Those were big ones. Why did I pick this game? This was the very first time the Vikings played the St. Louis Rams.
Ooh.
This game was played in St. Louis. Vikings win it. The Rams would play there from 1998 to 2015, and the Vikings would go 6-4 against the St. Louis Rams.
Let's go.
Won the margin.
Yep. And that is this week's Valhalla Back.
That is a good
I
one.
like it.
I mean, as we were going at the very end, I'm like, did John pick a loser? And I was like, no, he doesn't do that to us.
I don't pick losers. I will not pick a loser.
Vikings trauma. That's what that is.
It's always Vikings trauma. I watched the highlights of this knowing what was the outcome was. It's like, are you kidding me?
I know. My heart was pumping every once in a while. I was like, oh my gosh, what happens? I know what happens.
I'm watching these big plays get ripped off. It's like, yes, no, what?
Yep. Yeah.
I love when I can find footage of the games. It's more fun to do the analysis when I can watch them as opposed to just picking them out of a box score. So that was fun to watch.
That's awesome.
You should see if there's a Vikings history on DVD or something.
Luke
I
Brown,
actually have one.
Luke Brown did a segment, a multi-episode segment on his Patreon. He has about like all Vikings history of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, but like the videos of them.
Yeah, my sister got me a
actually,
DVD set.
not just like what the Vikings history is, but like okay. Never mind. Ignore me.
I have the only bad part about it is there are no Super Bowl wins to talk about.
Yeah.
That's
Because I remember, I don't know how old I was. I got my dad a videographic documentary set of the Yankees. Video.
World Series, baby.
Yeah, we're going. We're going.
My dad has something like that at home too. He's a huge Yankees fan. Huge.
Yeah. I just figured there'd be something for the Vikings too, where you have all the video of all their games.
Yeah.
I would love something like that. I mean, I had a history of Penn State, but this was back like, I think it only went through the early 90s when I got it. And that was great because it had all the seasons, all the games, all the bowl games. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Well, someday we'll have one that has the Super Bowl champs, I hope.
Yes.
But until then, I will always have a winning game for Valhalla Back. I have never picked a loser. Hey, we got time.
We do.
Should we do it?
Should we do our predictions before we do it?
Oh, yeah. Predictions.
Yeah, because that's true. If we don't do the predictions first, we'll get sidetracked.
We won't make it back.
No. All right, what do we got?
All right, so I have us winning. I just feel like I got to stick to my original wins and losses. But 24-21. Literally game-winning field goal. I keep hearing over and over again the Lions effect, where the game after you play the Lions, because they're so physical, a lot of people lose. You just don't have a good game, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go with, I'm thinking it's not going to be a lights out game. I still think they'll win, but I just think it's going to be one of those where it's just like grinding.
Yeah.
And a Thursday game.
Yeah, it's a short week.
I went almost the complete opposite. I have us pissed off that we lost such a close game to a division rival. We're going for revenge, 42-10.
Let's go.
Dan, if you're right, I will give you a whole half hour to talk about Bo next week.
Woo!
42-10. Whoa.
Yep. I think the defense is ticked off that they were that close, and just a few little errors made huge differences. I think they're ticked off. I think we get a pick six, a scoop and score kind of thing, and I think our offense just
Lights out.
goes off.
I don't have that. I don't have that. It's a short week. Raj and Infinite Wisdom decided that it would be a good idea to have Minnesota travel out to the West Coast on short rest, play the Rams, instead of picking a week to do this when both teams have to travel. The Rams are played at home Sunday. They have nowhere to go. That, I think, is going to factor into this. I really do. I don't know if Cooper Kupp's back or not. They thought he might be ready to go Sunday, and they held him out. If Cooper Kupp comes back, that's going to change things. I don't know how strong he is, but even having him out there is going to change things. Their offense has been stagnant without him and without Puka Nacua. So getting him back will change things. All that said, I think we will grind out a 24-17 win.
Wow.
And I think it will be a grind. I think it's going to be a tight one. One of those, it's 21-17. We kick a field goal to make it a touchdown game, and we have to hold on defense and keep the Rams out of the end zone at the end. I think that's the kind of game we could be in for. The Rams are not good.
Yeah.
I mean, they played the Raiders on Sunday, and that was nip and tuck right to the end. They won 20-15. But it's the NFL, and it's a week-to-week league.
Yep.
Other than the Panthers, I think anything can happen. And I think there are a lot of things working against us this week, but I think talent-wise, the Vikings are the better team, and I think we should be able to gut out a win on Thursday.
I agree. At least we all have us winning. It's a different degree of winning.
Yeah.
But
42-10 would blow my mind. Honestly.
You're being logical, so somebody's got to be irrational.
That's fair. We always
Very
have to have
true.
one irrational take.
Yeah.
It would
One
have to, and the
Super
Bo
Bowl.
Nix fan would be the one you'd pick to be irrational.
Of course. Who better?
Nobody.
Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
Now we can have some fun.
Yes.
And let's see how long it takes us to get through this, because this always takes us. It's always the longest segment of the show, which it shouldn't be, but it is.
It's the best segment, though.
It is the best segment.
It is the most. It's one of the most unique segments going next to Bo Nix on a Vikings podcast.
All right, I got one this week.
Hey, what's your Nostradamus question?
Who you got winning the series?
Oh boy.
Yankees in
I
In
can't.
6?
Yankees in 6.
I think we're gonna get it in 5. Pitching matchups.
That's fair. Yankees hit really good against right-handed pitchers, and they have 0 starting left-handed pitchers.
The one thing the Dodgers have in their favor, Clayton Kershaw isn't pitching in the postseason, so they should do better.
Now.
Kershaw is one of the worst postseason pitchers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I called him Mr. Any Month But October.
That sounds about right.
It
It kind of sounds like Class A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo.
that was not good.
0.61 ERA through the regular season and a 10.84 in the postseason.
There was a podcast that we were listening to right before the game where Judge and Stanton hit home runs off of him. Whatever game that was, we lost, but they were talking about how he was better than Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, I saw that, and I would have asked those people to pee in a cup.
I was like, I'm new.
Yep.
I'm relatively new to the Yankee fandom. And like, there are videos that pop up where I sit with Dan and I'm like, this is real. And he goes, yeah, he was that good. And I'm like, I knew he was good, but like, he was so good. And then, I knew you're an idiot. Why are you even comparing those two?
Yep.
And not only did he say he's on the same level, he said he was better.
Like there was, she was going through all the stats and stuff, and the one that always sticks out is the Mariano Rivera's win probability factor in the postseason. He brings an 11.7. If he's on the team, an 11.7. The next closest is 3.8.
And it's a hitter.
And it's a hitter.
Mo was amazing, and he did it all with one pitch.
Oh, there were two. He had a sinker and a cutter.
But the cutter was really like he would just it was basically versions of the cutter.
But yeah, it was one that broke 10 inches, one that broke 6.
Yeah.
And one that actually broke down.
Yeah, they were just versions of a cutter. That's all he threw was that same pitch. It's just versions of it.
Yeah.
And it was something to see. I saw him pitch in person, and it was wild. And there's nothing like being in Yankee Stadium when they play Enter Sandman. It's just nuts. Absolutely.
I unfortunately only got to see him on TV.
Thanks to what my dad did, I got to see a lot of really great Yankee stuff over the years.
That's amazing.
Thanks to his job, I got to see the Yankees live and in person a lot. I saw the World Series in '98. Game 2.
That's awesome.
Yep, it was fun. All right, Cora, what's your question?
I guess mine's a little bit more lame. What's your favorite breakfast sandwich?
Oh, this is easy.
And it doesn't have to be like a legit breakfast sandwich that like you like a McGriddle or something like that. Like you can build it yourself. But what's your favorite breakfast sandwich?
All right. McDonald's steak, egg, and cheese bagel. Bagel.
Do they have those around here?
I don't know if they have them where you are, but they have them here.
Okay.
Now, when they do their bagel sandwiches, you get the folded yellow egg, right? But you can order the round egg as a replacement, which is what I do.
That's fair.
Because I don't like the folded egg as much. So I get the round egg with the cheese and the steak and the bagel. I don't like the breakfast sauce or the slivered onions, especially in the morning. It's too messy. So I get without that. I get that once a week. That is my go-to breakfast sandwich. I love it. I could eat it every day, but I don't.
Should we switch it to fast food breakfast sandwiches or making your own?
No, dude, no. You're good.
Okay.
Whatever.
Do you want to go or do you want me to?
I'll go.
Okay. You don't like breakfast?
The days I travel in the mornings, I stop by a Holiday and I get a waffle breakfast sandwich, and it's like a bun, like a soft waffle. It's not hard and crunchy like kind of you normally get for breakfast.
Right.
And then I get hot sauce and dump it on there, and it is it's waffle, sausage, egg,
Quick
cheese.
Trip makes one of those.
That sounds good.
And like the waffle has like this syrupy taste to it.
Yep.
So
That
kind of
sounds good.
It's like, yep.
Corey's giving you like a look like, are you crazy? But I think it's
no, that's not why. We did not discuss this before the podcast. I said this out loud and he didn't know what question I was going to ask. Do you want to know what mine is?
Let me guess.
Mine is a waffle sandwich, but like homemade ones. When you add syrup into the waffle batter, make the waffle, then there's egg and sausage and cheese and waffle.
See, that's what you need to do for breakfast this weekend then. Make yourself some
tomorrow
sausage waffle breakfast sandwiches. They sound really good though.
They're so good.
But when I had this bagel the first time, I was like, are you kidding me? It's the one thing from McDonald's I really like.
There's a really good one. It's a bagel. It's a sausage bagel sandwich from a place called Scooters. It's so good. It's sausage, egg, and then Gouda cheese, smoked Gouda, and then just on like a bagel. It's good.
See, I make breakfast sandwiches here every weekend pretty much. And I use a ciabatta bread every now and then, sourdough bread. I'm always changing up the bread part.
I love breakfast, and I love breakfast sandwiches.
Same.
They're so good.
I'm a fan of breakfast sandwiches and breakfast burritos.
Burritos. We need a good breakfast burrito place. We don't have one.
I can make those too.
Like we can make them, but it's just I don't know. It's not the same.
They wrap them tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the wrapping is hard. I have to wrap it and then I grill it to make sure it stays closed.
Yep, that's what I do when I make like wraps.
Started cheese wrapping our burrito, so you get a you get your burrito and you roll it up and everything, and then on the pan you make sure it's nice and clean, no junk on the bottom, and
hot
hot, but at like a just under medium kind of thing. Sprinkle cheese on there and let it sizzle for a little bit until the edges start to look dry, right? And then you're going to take your burrito and put it crease down and let it sit for a bit, and then scoop your spatula underneath and roll it across all the cheese in the pan.
That is ingenious. And
Yeah.
It was inspired by Lucas.
No.
Actually doing it was inspired by Lucas because he kept asking for. Yes, he kept asking for them.
He asked for it because I did it for him. And then
using
him
the
addicted.
cheese to seal the burrito is genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the cheese gets like a little crisp to it.
Sure,
so
yeah, you get that. I like that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that. I'll let you know if I do.
Okay. It's good.
Well, I've got a food question too, of course. All right. You're sitting down, you're watching TV, it's snack time, but you can't have potato chips, tortilla chips, popcorn, or pretzels. What are you choosing for your snack?
Nerd clusters.
Oh, man. See, I can't do sweet when I'm sitting down to watch TV. That's too much. Nerd clusters.
Yeah.
A carryover from last week. Nerd clusters make a return of engagement 2 weeks ago.
Nerd clusters or sour strips?
We take sponsorships.
Yes, we take.
Seriously. Sponsor us, Nerd clusters.
Or sour strips, because those things are so good.
Yeah, those are good too. So Cora would sit down and watch TV with something sweet.
With sugar.
With sugar.
Yeah.
Good to know. What do you got, Dan?
Nerd clusters?
Oh. What's the other thing I always sit down with?
Gummy bears?
No. Oh my
what?
God. Ice cream.
Oh, ice cream. Ice cream.
That's my dad. My dad always a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah, a bowl. Yep. It's a bowl.
A bowl shaped like a
container. Yeah.
We like odd shaped bowls.
Oh man.
Ice cream's not a bad one. See, I wouldn't go sweet. I'm going with bugles. Do you know what bugles are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Put on your fingers.
Aren't those chips?
Yeah. No, they're not chips.
I think they count as chips.
No, they're not chips.
Yeah, they're totally chips. They come in a chip bag.
Just because they come in a bag that normally carries bugles aren't chips, Dan.
In the chip section.
Dan, they're not chips. They're bugles, Dan.
I will say, if I needed a savory one, you know those? Oh no, pretzel chips.
Well, yeah,
you can't go pretzels.
Never mind.
See, that's why I chose this, because it's harder. It'd be way easy if I let you have the basic 4.
Yeah, that's fair. Because have you ever had those everything but the bagel seasoned pretzel chips?
I've had those. I'm not a big fan of like everything bagels, but I've had them.
Dip them in cream cheese or spread cream cheese on it. Delicious.
You know what our kids actually like? Edamame beans.
Ooh.
I went through my edamame period of life where I would eat them as a snack.
Yeah, that's what our kids would sit with. How did we create healthy kids? When our snack choices are nerd clusters and ice cream.
Nerd clusters and ice cream. And the sour strip just in case.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I like my candy though. I like chocolate. Like I can't have M&Ms in the house.
That's fair.
And if they're peanut M&Ms, forget it.
Oh, they're gone in a day.
I have to keep them in the office with the door closed.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Well, I'm talking about the big bags.
A day? Okay, so instead of 1 hour, it takes an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, stop.
See, if I keep them in here, they're out of sight, out of mind. So when I walk by the office, I might grab a handful and then leave. So they'll last me like almost a week.
That's fair.
The family size bag, though. We're not talking small bag.
Yeah.
I don't waste my time in small bags.
You're a family man.
That's right. We have a family.
Yep.
And I have size, so I'm getting the family size. And when D gets them for me, it's the worst because it's like, oh, why did you do that?
Thank you, but like, not thank you.
Yeah, because you love them. It's like I do, and that's the reason why I don't buy them.
Cora's thing lately is why does healthy Cora go shopping?
Because I never come home with any good snacks.
Yeah.
So when I go shopping, I'm thinking like, ooh, fruits and vegetables. Ooh, look at all these dinners we can make. Oh, we don't need this. We don't need this. And then I get home and I'm like, we needed that or wanted that.
I'm going to sit down and I really don't want to dip carrots in dressing. And
No.
Snack.
I don't want celery and peanut butter.
However, if you get apple cider vinegar dressing, it'll change your life.
Is it
It's
that
amazing. It's amazing. Ken's Steakhouse, apple cider vinegar dressing.
good? Okay. We do like a good balsamic.
We don't have it around here, but when I go to visit my family, I will buy 4 to 5 bottles of it to take home because we don't have it here.
That's fair.
I can't get it. It's amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
It makes me want to eat salad. And I do. I will eat salad because of that dressing.
I like me a Caesar, but that's not as healthy as apple cider.
I
It's
think
so good.
I think my favorite salad is like a Southwestern.
Fair.
With the strips on it and everything like that.
The Chipotle ranch kind of thing. Yeah.
See, here we go. This is why
Food.
question goes last, and usually at least one is a food question, and it drags us a good 15 minutes.
Food is
beyond
the
any
best.
reasonable time. I think people should listen just for the food questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just listen to the last 25 minutes of our hour-long podcast.
Yeah, you can do that. Like you can fast forward through all the football and just go to the food part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's always food.
There's always food.
You know what we should in our logo? Never mind. Let's say put a pizza in between the three of us.
A big pepperoni pizza.
Yep.
I think we've held everybody long enough.
Yep.
Yep.
We have a game Thursday night. Rest up. Followed by looking ahead, our next Sunday game is a night game now.
Horse.
Yeah.
Nice
We
little
got flex.
We got flexed, and I hate that, by the way. But we'll talk
I
about
don't
that.
understand why they'd flex that game, but okay.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that for the next show.
Are they?
I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll look into that next show. We
Well-
can all come up with our own theory on it.
Yeah, I think we need to research it. Thanks for everybody who checked in tonight. If you haven't heard us live, catch the replay. We appreciate all the support, and it's a lot of fun. You're missing out if you're not checking us out.
Join us.
Good night, everybody.
Give us your opinions and thoughts.
Yeah, we love that. Skol us home.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Go, we're going fast already.
Go! Go! Go!
Go, 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 go.
Go!
Night.
Go!